so market share. Now you got your clear head. So he won the elimination. Did you have a sort of game plan going into it? Because this is more, you got to react more to the other horses than what Check Me Out was doing.
My horse was he always raced off a helmet most of his life, and setting up to that race, he left good. He set in the 2-hole and he popped out top of the lane and just exploded in the elimination. So he was brave and he was ready. And Linda told me, says, just go down swing and don't get locked in, or don't take a chance. If you got to be first up, take it. And my horse, he really responded well. Good.
So we're going behind the gate. Who is the other horse? There was a bunch of good horses in here. When in a race like this, are you more worried about the drivers or the horses?
Well, you got to worry about both. You got to know what the driver's capabilities are, and you have to know the capabilities of the horse. Especially when there's driver changes and things, Ronnie Pierce can really wake up a kind of a lazy colt and make him do things that he's not supposed to do usually.
Yeah. Talk to Paul McDonnell in some beach somewhere.
Yeah. And then again, Brian Sears and them guys are, you put him on a hot horse, he can calm him right down and put him in a good spot.
Real quick, what's your best thing?
Or I just try hard.
What do people say about Tim? Like
I don't know. I just try hard. I try to do the best I can and drive horses. Drive the horse and not the race so much.
All right, so we're going behind the gate. Are you looking left? Are you looking right? Do you remember your game plan for
I was looking everywhere because there was so many scenarios in this race that I never really could figure out which way it was going to go. I knew Ronnie was going to be kind of aggressive. I didn't think he was going to be quite as aggressive as he was, and I knew Jimmy Morrill's horse coming out of New York was racing. He always showed good early speed, and
right, he won the Yonkers Trot. Now that was one of the years where they had the Yonkers Trot before. Normally it's in August, September, October. So does that boost it up now that horse has won a major stakes race?
Well, I knew the horse because I followed him around the New York Sire Stakes some, and even at Vernon he trotted 51 or something and did it easy. He was a very talented horse that kind of flew under the radar. And when you race at those small tracks or this lesser competition, your horse is still fresh and he's still really brave because he hadn't had to get raced quite so hard.
Week after
it's
week.
Kind of like the Freaky Pete deal. He's a very nice horse, but he raced in Indiana against horses that just aren't as good as him. So when he stepped up the Breeders' Crown, he was so brave. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Which I'm not. He's a great horse. I'm not saying that.
But it's weak. It's the grind.
It's the grind.
It's a different grind.
It's a grind.
I mean, these
horses.
horses.
Out here, these horses, they get taken shots at every start, every week.
It's like if you want to compare it to sports, like the Miami Heat. When LeBron was on the Heat, like every game, they're getting their best shot.
They wanted to show up to beat him.
Right.
They all wanted to show up to beat LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
And sometimes they can't, but they're still getting the best shot. Whereas, like you said, Freaky Pete, this competition wasn't, there wasn't 5-6 horses that can beat him.
There was one that could follow him, maybe keep up to him. Where he's going in 48. And so when you do that, you can, they get pretty brave.
Less to worry about. All right, so we're going behind the gate now.
Yeah, I've got the 2-hole here, and my horse. I just wanted to get him in a good spot where I could either be second over, or be first up, late. But it actually worked out where I was, left the gate good, and there was a couple. When Dave's horse left there, Palone, I didn't think he was a very good horse, so I wanted to close up that hole.
So you were okay with Morrow leaving because he had Archangel and the Yonkers Trot winner, but so you kind of wanted to slip right next to Jim. Like that first turn, it's battling.
It can get tight, and the last thing you want to do is make a break, and George Brennan, his horse wasn't quite a good horse. He always showed good speed, but he really launched him out of there. George went minister, as they say.
Yep.
To put him in play, and so the fractions were starting to get hot, and I was actually loving my spot here.
So we're going into the first turn.
Jim Tanlundby, and Jim Tanlundby takes the lead and out-swooped Uncle Peter.
Now you're sitting fourth. It's a good spot because now you can edge out, and if nobody pulls in front of you, you're first over. And if they do edge out, you're second over.
Yep. Right now, I knew with Jimmy getting in third, he's going to make a move, or Ronnie's going to make a move, so they're going to be plenty of speed going. They end
To
up
the
both
first
moving.
turn, Archangel's on the move up with Jim Morrill Jr. Aggressive early. Market share fourth on the inside.
See, right here, when Jimmy beat Pierce to the punch, I'm like, this is awesome. Because now I'm going to be second over behind Ronnie with the favorite.
Yeah.
He's 8-5. I'm going to get to follow him. He's going to pull at the 5/8, and I'm going to get a perfect trip. Even if he clears top of the lane, I'm still a quarter mile to go. So I was loving my spot here.
you're going to be covered up for,
Yep.
a good quarter of a mile, which, any good horse, you cover him up for a quarter of a mile. That's great.
Parked out 6 past the quarter. Then it's My MVP, followed by Prestidigitator. Sluggish early is
Then
Gucci on
Ronnie
Money
went ahead
on
and
My
followed
Mind.
Jimmy up.
20
Yeah. Now 27-2. I ask guys a lot. Are you looking at the quarter pole?
You glance over just because you're so used to doing it, and every race I'm ever in, I always look at the quarter pole just to see where we're at.
The quarter pole, but what about the half and the three
I
quarter?
try to always look.
Okay.
I usually always look, and it's just a habit because, I've always looked and see how fast we're going. And when you know the horses and stuff, if you're down there half 57 and you need to be there in 55, you better start, racing.
Yeah.
Or if you're down there in 54, you can take your time to get on up there.
Can we? If I had flashcards, can you do quick math in your head?
Pretty close.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So now Jimmy moves. And we almost know Jimmy sometimes likes to sit at 2-hole, especially in these big stakes races.
Mm-hmm.
So
I figured he'd let him go. I thought he would, but I thought he would take him, and he did. They went plenty of fractions. I was still happy.
7-2 in the
there's
backstretch.
Yep.
Archangel, the Yonkers Trot World Champion, takes the lead. Here comes the favorite, Uncle Peter. Uncle Peter's on the move up there, the elimination winner. Sweeps up and grabs the lead. Jim Tan Laundry, last year's winner, George Brennan in the third position, nearing the half mile.
And I really got to
Market
set a
share
long
is
time. I
scored
got to set
the
almost
outside,
all the way
goes
to
no
the half,
nothing fifth.
before I had to start making
is
my
tipping
moves.
to the
So
outside and trying to flush
that was
market
really
share
good.
here. Miami
yeah, you snuck out. Now on the screen, it looks like you just snuck out, but was it in real?
No, it wasn't bad.
Just a bad angle.
Just a bad angle. Jody's horse was a little aggressive, and he was wanting me to pull sooner, but I was just waiting as long as I could.
Okay.
I was already. I know it's not supposed to be. You're half in, half out, but I was going to come no matter what.
When you got a horse like that, it's almost not okay. But like you said, everybody knows you're pulling, and guys want you to pull.
Yeah.
So
you're just trying to, save your horse as much as you can. If you come too early, you're giving that other guy too good a trip. So, it's just one of the tricks of the trade that I've learned from a lot of the best.
So you got 5/8 mile worth of cover. That's where you wanted to be. Now you're first over.
Yep.
Like Linda said, go down fighting.
Yeah, go down fighting, and the fractions were fair enough.
Do you want to did you want to rush up or did you want to grind up?
No, I was a grinding. I wanted to grind up and keep the bits in my horse's mouth, and hopefully he had a big enough run from the 7/8 home to hold on.
Right. You didn't want to go minister.
No.
So all right. So last turn.
54 and 3 is pretty good half. So I grinded my way up there, and when I got up to Ronnie's wheel, I could see Ronnie's horse was already pretty struggling and tired, and my horse was just right up in the bits and felt really good. And I said I knew the cavalry was going to come sooner or later, but my horse really felt good at this point.
And he was always a good gated horse, good to drive.
He's great to drive. His gait's not as perfect as some.
Right.
He's kind of a little short-legged thing, but he's got a big heart, which is more important than any of the other stuff.
So when it's going to the 3/4 pole, you're grinding up, like you said. Are you looking at Ronnie to see does he have much left?
I was watching his horse to see how much go he had. If I had to worry about him and getting up to him, I felt like I had him beat handily already.
Okay.
And I was just kind of seeing around me, see how much go and which one I had to protect.
You almost had the horse in the 2-hole. Do you want to keep him blocked in at this point?
Well, if he's got a lot of go, you do.
Yeah.
You don't want him to get out.
You don't want to give him a fair,
No.
a clean shot at you.
When you're first up, you can almost drive 3-4 horses in a race because if the horse on the front's done, you can drive the one in the 2-hole, the one behind you, and the one sitting fourth on the rail.
Right.
Because you're controlling the speed if the horse on the front's done.
And the direction, because if maybe the horse on the lead starts to drift out, you can
keep him down.
You can keep him down right on the rail. So we're going on the final turn.
Camping cover still within striking range. Jim Tan Laundry fifth on the inside. My MVP is sixth. Guccio has to come 3 wide. Around a failing Storm and Normand as they turn for home is Uncle Peter. Here comes market share 122 and 3 in the stretch of the Hambletonian, and market share powers to the top with Tim Tetrick. Market share.
So it's pretty sweet. You got like a 16th of a mile to go, maybe even more. When did you know I'm going by?
Well, I knew I was going by Ronnie at the top of the lane.
Okay.
As soon as I asked my horse to give me his sprint, I knew I was going by him. And just I had to hope that Guccio and a couple of the other ones that were way in the back didn't, had enough traffic in front of them to not catch me.
Right, that they had the clean shot. So were you looking back or are you just listening at this point?
I was listening. I was actually trying to watch the big screen a little bit down the
Okay, okay.
You know, my
And that's pretty live, right? It's maybe
it's right on.
It's right on.
Because when you look back, you can't always see the ones that are 3-4 back. But if you look on the big screen, you can see the ones in the back that's gearing up, that's going to give you a run.
So listen, basketball players do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds silly, but I do it all the time when I'm finishing to see if there's one coming up the inside, sneaking late.
Right.
And I know that sounds crazy. But
No, listen, is it easier to do in the daytime or nighttime, or it's good either way?
Either way, yeah,
Okay.
either way. But you can look over and see it on the.
I like that. Is Meadowlands the best track for that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe that's why you like driving there. It's a little bit of an edge.
Uncle Peter can't trot with him. Guccio up on the far outside. My MVP is closing hard.
My horse was getting tired here the last 20 feet, but he was digging in. He was fighting hard, and you know, they just all the horses in the back just they run out of real estate. And my horse, you know, he won a great race. He was first up, you know, a little over a half mile, and you know, he raced really good.
Were you getting nervous the last 10
I was asking him. I said,
Come
"Come
on,
Lord,
man,
get up,
come
man."
on.
I was picking him up and trying to carry him, but it was a cool race.
So, I mean, is that
I still get chills watching the replay.
because it was that last 20 feet, or just because of the whole experience?
You know, just I remember that feeling when I asked him top of the lane and he opened up 3 or 4 on him when he went right by Uncle Peter, and I said, "Man, I'm gonna get my first Hambletonian here." And then when I looked on the big screen, I'm like, "Dude, shit! Here comes the cavalry," and I don't know if I'm gonna get there, but you know, it all worked out, and he held on. It was really, really cool.
And then probably one of the best pictures in harness racing history, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter, right? What's your daughter's name?
Trista.
Trista was sitting. They propped her up in the Hambletonian Cup trophy.
Oh yeah, we just threw it right in there. She likes it. But it was cool. That was I always told myself I had a daughter or a son that if I win it, I was putting them in the.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so that was just a spur of the moment thing, and
Yeah.
nobody else has done it. So I mean, is Hambletonian the biggest race of your win of your career?
Yeah, it's our biggest race in our sport. You know, everybody knows about the Hambletonian worldwide. Whatever country you go to, they know about it if they know anything about harness racing. And it's the best race to be in. It's the hardest race to win, and it's a great day and it's a great race.